Body 101, leading. This is Scaring with Sammy, scareactor tips in 5 minutes. So this is about creating and expressing a character through body movement, through a technique called leading, or sometimes known as the leading center. And the idea is that everybody walks differently, they move differently, and their bodies, they're driven from one point in their body. Which is why, if you're sitting at a cafe, and people are walking down the street, you'll see they all walk so differently because they all move from different parts of their body. So, the idea of leading is that we can control that and we can create characters and express through that. So, here's one way that it works. First, you find a neutral position. I have a tendency when I'm walking every day, I walk with a slouch and like the world's on my shoulders. I want to get rid of that because I want to start from a neutral posture so that whatever I create, I'm creating without muddling it with extra things that are being said by my body. So here we are, neutral position, and I'm going to envision a ball of energy. And that ball I'm going to put somewhere, and that's going to animate and drive that part of the body to move me as a person or a character. So I'm going to take it and let's start and put it in the chest. So in the chest, the chest leading, here I am, and it's confident. It's dominant a little bit. I don't have a lot of space to move in this area, so you can really see it. But it's confidence. That's walking, leading from the chest. Now, if we put it in the eyes, it's very direct. It's driven. I am focused on something. It's very predatorial, moving, driven from the eyes. Now, if you drop that down to the nose, you're animating the nose. The nose is more of an indirect sense, so it's a little bit more, leading by the nose, it's a little bit more prey as opposed to predator, which is where the eyes would be. I guess the same thing would be for the ears. It's a little bit more, it's an indirect sense. If you put it in the teeth, that's very, bestial, very, not predatorial, that's animal, that's attack. Same thing, chin, you put in the chin, what is that? It's kind of arrogant, it's kind of, come at me, I'm looking down at you. Now, these are just generalizations, some things, basic ideas that, the way that I feel when I do these. It's just generalizations. You can do a lot of different things. You could put it in the chin, and you might have a completely different feeling about how it works when when the rest of the body gets involved, and the rest of your imagination gets involved. So let's put it lower in the body. Stomach. There's that's a different thing. Pelvis as well. That's kind of these are different expressions. It can be in the hips. Have you ever seen somebody walk down the street and yep, that person is all about the hips? It doesn't mean that the hips have to be forward in front of everything else. It just means that it's animated. You can also create, all of the basic movie monsters. If you put it in the legs, you've got automaton, very much, Frankenstein, just sort of being dragged forward. If you put it in the fingers, there's the mummy being dragged forward. If you put it in the neck, well, obviously the head isn't important, so you have zombie. And now just by leading in different places, we've easily created these vastly different characters. And that's very basic. That's like on the line, what we've just been doing. But we're haunters, so we can do more. We want to create interesting and unique characters, and we want them to feel off to the guests. So move that ball of energy. Instead of on the straight line, move it to a side. Do something different with it. So for example, instead of doing straight from both eyes, put in one eye. That's going to change how the character moves. That's going to change the character itself. Put it in your right shoulder, in your left knee. I created a character once that was led by a wine glass. You are limited only by your imagination. And each time that you try something new, you're going to learn something new, which you can then bring to the haunts. You can say, oh, this doesn't work for me. This does work for me. So here's what I would say. Close the door in a room and find a neutral position, start walking around faster, slower, and then take that ball of energy to animate different parts of your body and try different things. You'll create different characters, you'll create ways to express characters in a different way, and this is what we want to create, those interesting, unique characters that guests will see at an instant and say, okay, there's something going on there. They'll recognize that it's a different movement than just an everyday mulling about. So, Body 101, leading, Scaring with Sammy.